Ren from Hallowed Be Thy Game, and today we're sharing with you our favorite games from Nintendo handheld consoles, Part 2. Let's check it out. Alright, now we have made our way to the behemoth himself.
My favorite.
Yeah, what some would consider the best handheld ever created. And I'm gonna be honest, I ain't in the mood to argue it. The DS is a monster when it comes to just. Honestly, there may be more hidden gems for the DS than I think one human brain could ever catalog. It's just, anyways.
There's so many DS games that I played at the time in my life when this was the thing. Yeah. I can't remember all of them.
We have both amended our list for the DS
several times.
So, again, if your game that you want to see is not on this list, we've either...
I maybe removed it. I forgot I played it.
Yeah.
You're going to have a comment. I'm going to go, oh, yeah!
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be slapping ourselves for a while. But, okay, with that said, please let us know your top 3 picks for the DS down in the comments. But I'm going to go ahead and start off with a strong one. It is, without question, my favorite SRPG ever made, Devil Survivor 2.
I need to deal with this.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm not one that's typically good or seeks out SRPGs.
Me either.
But we all know I'm a little absurdly cuckoo bananas for the turn-based press turn battle system with the SMT and Persona series. This is glorious because it has all the unique strategy elements of building your parties and your demon party members with kind of baseline skill sets that will benefit you in a tactical SRPG climate, but it has the press turn battle system where you're incentivized to hit weaknesses and such like that, but you can kind of build your team to, let's say, be able to attack 2 squares further or be able to attack twice. It is so freaking good. There's a lot of depth here, and don't let that off-put you. These are not renowned for being extremely easy, but again, if I can beat these suckers, anyone can. And both of them, Devil Survivor 1 and 2, are excellent, and I'm honestly, like, depending on when you ask me, I would tell you Devil Survivor just with this, but anyways, I think 2, it hit its stride with some of the gameplay quality of life changes from the first. But anyways, they're excellent. They're easily my favorite SRPGs ever made, and the DS is so glorious for housing them. Devil Survivor 1 and 2, which one would you recommend someone play? Let people know down in the comments.
Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations.
Objection.
Which is essentially the third game in the trilogy on the DS. And if you've played this game and you know Dahlia Hawthorne, you're already seething with rage. This is one of the best villains in a video game, and she is so cold, so heartless, so evil, that it puts her at the top of the list because she's such a memorable villain. The Phoenix Wright trilogy on DS, I was already a big fan of, and really 3 is just a phenomenal cap on the trilogy. I loved where it went. I loved all the twists and turns. And it got out there. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. This is not, it's one of those things.
Have you seen the games?
Sure. I understand.
I've seen some things.
It gets out there. But Phoenix Wright and Godot. Oh, Godot.
Dude.
What?
Oh, is he the coffee dude?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Bro. Yeah. We're going to put that music's in the background right now. I already know I'm going to put...
Don't at me, Cap.
I already know I'm going to put Dark Fragrance of Coffee in here. Listen, Godot. You've got Dahlia, who is just the worst villain, and Godot is just this terrible prosecutor, evil character.
Right.
And at the risk of spoilers in here, what a character.
Dude,
what a character.
Phoenix Wright can do a storyline.
Absolutely.
They can do some character.
And they did a lot of good callbacks to, like, what do you call that? Flashbacks before Phoenix Wright 1, like Phoenix as a teenager and how he met Mia Fey and why he wanted to become a lawyer and what led him into knowing Dolly. Just all these, what do you call it, the threads of fate that brought all of these characters together. Just Phoenix Wright 3, I love, and the music, I could go on all day. I love Phoenix Wright 3.
Okay, I have this one game. I don't know if I've talked about it on the channel yet. It's kind of a game. It has robots in it. Has some Taisen. Yes, it is in fact Super Robot Taisen OG Saga Endless Frontier. Woo! Man, dude, you knew it was coming.
I did.
You knew it was coming.
Listen. We did that. We kind of talked about games a couple videos ago, and I played this briefly
to get the footage,
just to see what we were talking about. What a fun game!
Oh my god!
What a fun game!
It slaps, dude. It's just so unique, and a lot of people were not a lot, but a couple of people commented in there like, I don't really like the Super Robot series and stuff. I don't think that game plays like I haven't played the other Super Robot Wars.
Wildly
games.
different from what we could tell.
Okay, yeah, because like it has like intuitive, interactive, like real-time combat button entries, but in a turn-based setting. I love it. It's just so weird. It's a weird DS, and that's why the DS rocked so hard. It just was a time of like the Wild West with developers, and Monolith Soft just teams up and they're like, hey, let's take Cosmos, get her on in here, let's get some other characters going on, and let's just rock out a fun game. And somebody said, you know what, there's not enough fan service in this, so they said, let's change that.
Why don't we add it?
It's just so absurd, and it's everything that's good about video games. Super Robot Taisen, OG Saga, Endless Frontier, don't at me, just play it. It's excellent.
You're gonna have fun.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And now I gotta harass you about The World Ends With You.
I'm so ashamed.
I know you haven't played The World Ends With You.
Dude,
everyone needs to harass you to play The World Ends With You.
They do, because honestly, it is one of my biggest games.
It is. The World Ends. I assume if you're watching this channel, you've played The World Ends With You. If you haven't,
you're probably
go play The World Ends With You.
No one, every JRPG fan but me has played this.
Okay. The World Ends With You has a Are you familiar with the combat situation? So, for those who don't know, on the top screen, you play as one character. On the bottom screen, you play as another character. The top screen uses, depending on if you're left or right-handed, but assuming you're right-handed, you'll use your left hand on the D-pad to control the top screen.
Okay.
And you'll use your right hand with the stylus to control the bottom screen. And you'll attack just in tandem in one combat scene with both characters. And it looks and sounds very difficult.
Right.
I promise it is not as difficult as it may seem. And I never tried this combat on any other port. I know there was the iOS port, the Switch. Yeah, I don't know. I've meant to look. I feel like the game would lose a lot to not be played on the DS. Oozing. And it is oozing with personality.
Right.
That soundtrack is incredible.
I've heard it rocks hard.
I love the soundtrack. And a little emotional.
Really?
Oh, yeah. You're going to get to like these characters, and there's going to be some turns that you aren't going to see coming. If you are into like that, again, these take place in Shibuya. They're very engulfed in Japanese culture.
Right.
If you're into that kind of stuff in JRPGs, gotta check out The World Ends With You. It's so good.
Yeah. The World Ends With You. Is there anyone else out there who hasn't played it? I'm just
make him feel better.
Yeah, just harass me. I get it. I deserve it at this point. All right, so for my last DS game, I want to put on here. This is not the first place I played it, but it is by far and away where I beat it like 5 or 6 times, and that's the Chrono Trigger port to DS. There are a plethora of excellent, incredible DS games, but I just can't help but give the spot to Chrono Trigger because it's just excellence refined. It is the dream team, the once-in-a-lifetime pairing of just the greats of gaming to come together and make what is one of the most beloved, ignored franchise games on the planet. Chrono Trigger, the music, the gameplay, the characters, the art design, it's just perfect, and the DS is the perfect place to play it. I think they went ahead and added a few endings to the DS version.
I believe so.
They went ahead and took essentially the PlayStation version was where I played it, had the excellent cutscenes, the anime cutscenes. It did have a lot of load times, but when you're young and you don't know any
Finally
better,
playing Chrono Trigger?
Yeah, I didn't really know.
Care.
But anyways, Chrono Trigger on the DS, I just freaking love it. Play it if you can, yeah.
Play Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
It's a classic for a reason.
glorious.
And of course, I love rhythm games, and who didn't love Elite Beat Agents?
Unironically, the saddest video game I've ever played.
Bro, that Chicago song, you're the inspiration.
There is no video game ever created that has made me cry harder than
you're the
Chicago.
Hey!
You're I don't want to get demonetized. I'll just say that little 3-minute cutscene
with the little girl.
Oh
yeah,
my
man.
God,
crazy.
Man. I did not cry. I wept.
For sure.
I wept.
And then you save the world through the power of magic and music.
It saved
from an
me.
alien invasion.
It saved me. You know, EBA is such a meme god, but it is also my favorite rhythm game ever made.
It's so good. And it's a shame. We looked up not too long ago. Game kind of was a disaster. In
That's
sales.
So sad.
It's a shame. And
Yeah.
for those of you who, like me, or were a big EBA fan, never got a sequel, there are two... I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, but there are two of these games, granted with Japanese music, that were made in Japan. They totally work. You can totally play them. You'll get what's going on. So there are three of these in a way. But Elite Beat Agents was the one we all played first.
Yeah.
And it was just...
It's the top of the mountain for me.
Annihilated that. Listen, I played this game so much. I found my DS Lite the other day, funnily enough.
Yeah.
That touchscreen still works, and I gave it hell on playing Elite Beat Agents.
I know. I remember we called it the screen killer. The DS
Whenever
killer.
you were spinning the disc, oh my gosh.
I was like, I gotta save the world.
Yeah.
Sorry, DS.
But that DS screen held up, and
dude.
just a testament to how good the game was, how strong the hardware was.
Right.
DS,
Man, I love it. All right, now we make
shame.
Oh, dude, this is where my love is. I love the 3DS, and I do consider it to be. I know a lot of people love and play the 3DS. It wasn't like a commercial bomb,
right?
But I will say this: I do think people overlook how much swag the 3DS has in the JRPG scene. Not just in ports, but you do have the definitive version of some of the greatest JRPGs ever made are on the 3DS, where I would recommend play them. But that said, the 3DS is just a monster when it comes to the JRPG scene. So right off the bat, I want to start with my favorite 3DS game, Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology. Oh my god, I love this game. Everything about this game, I love it.
You mentioned to me that this is one I need to check out, and much like me giving you crap about The World Ends With You, I haven't tried this yet.
Dude, I will say this, Radiant Historia, as a father, this game hit me on a guttural level. If for anybody who's played it, and if you know what I'm talking about, try not to spoil it in the comments, but this game just has heart and passion, and it does the most dangerous thing you can do with any story and introduce time travel, and it sticks the landing so freaking hard.
Ooh.
There are so many joke endings you can get by making the wrong decision.
In this game?
And the world ends outright, someone dies right in front of your face, and then it says, hey, open up the I think it's called the White Chronicle, and go back in time and fix it. So literally, there is a true ending to this game, which normally is like, oh god, I gotta look at a guy.
Yeah.
You know, I want everybody to live.
I got 100% this
yeah,
thing.
It does no.
Doesn't do that.
Yeah, there is a true ending. But you can always just go back and make a different choice because you can control time, and it's so good. In the combat in this, you have this grid layout. Oh my god, I need to calm down. I freaking love this game so much. Okay, so you have a grid layout, and your goal is to essentially group all the enemies up so you can do a combo chain, which has damage modifiers. So essentially, you're constantly knocking people to the side, using a hook to pull someone in from the back, and then you just end it with this glorious lightning strike from your team members.
Unleash some big damage.
And it's just boom, numbers, and you're like, I big brain, smart person. It makes you feel smarter than you are, which is...
Isn't that what we want?
That's what I want, Make me think that, and Stock is such a non-typical JRPG protagonist. He's slightly older. He's ancient in anime years. He's mid-20s,
What?
Yeah, and he's a seasoned war vet. He makes sound, rational decisions. He's grounded as a character, a little rough around the edges, but just a glorious cast of characters, beautifully written, and it has a tactical nuke strike in terms of emotional impact at the end. It's excellent. It's beautiful. The 3DS version has voice acting. The guy who voiced Joker in Persona 5, Xavier, I can't remember his last name. Please forgive me. But like, he does an excellent job. I loved it. Gorgeous cast of characters from voice acting. They just did an incredible job. I love it. It's in my top 5 favorite games of all time. Radiant Historia. I think it's a must play.
We said we were going to talk about Zelda some more, so we ever play A Link Between Worlds before?
Oh my god, I have.
I love... This is... Okay, listen. This is probably my favorite Zelda game.
And
I loved A Link Between Worlds.
Honestly, as someone who's loved Zelda their whole life,
Same.
You couldn't pick a better game. It is excellent. It may not be my favorite, but it is absolutely that good.
Sure. You could have never convinced me you could make a well, you know how it gets, but a quote-unquote sequel to A Link to the Past, and tell me I was going to like it more. But here we are.
I know, dude. It's that good.
As goofy as the high roll, low roll pun was.
I know.
I adore this game.
And that mechanic works
Totally
so well,
agree.
becoming a 2D painting. It just worked.
It was so neat.
Unique.
The art was so cool. The music was all kind of remixes of the old SNES game.
The mini games were fun, although baseball kicked my butt.
I loved the baseball. Come on.
I was like, I could hit these up. Wait, I gotta hit things. I gotta tactically strike things. Oh man, it was so hard but good.
There was just again oozing with like personality and the characters, just the areas where they were nostalgic and unique. This game hit every note. It was an embodiment of everything I wanted out of the 3DS.
And it really flexed the muscles of the 3D capabilities on it. It was really well done.
It was just one of those games that I could go on all day about how much I enjoyed it.
And you know what? Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask are the definitive ways to play on the 3DS. But I've played those games so many other times on the 64.
Same here.
A Link Between Worlds is so distinctly 3DS.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if it's ported, which would be excellent, I do feel like it's so made for the 3DS. I don't know if it would be the same. Like, it just landed so well on all fronts.
I mean,
this is one of the best.
This is one of those things we could go in a whole other video topic about.
Right.
I really think as the DS and 3DS is lost to time, that these experiences will have emulation and preservation methods. I do feel like you're going to lose a lot by not having the stylus in your hand and 2 screens and
and everybody does meme on the 3D capabilities of the 3DS. I get it. I mostly always play either very low. I play it very low or off, and I get that.
Sure.
However,
that's not the point.
It's just that it's
that
there.
Form factor.
Everything about it. I just think it does. And there's another game or 2 more games on this list for 3DS that
just
really
need that
crush it. Yeah. And speaking of which, Kirby Planet Robobot. Oh man, my favorite Kirby game.
Really?
Bar none. And I'm not joking. Kirby Planet Robobot is one of the best 3DS games. Kirby, you have all the awesome, you get the powers and stuff, but then you get this giant freaking death robot, and it's just absorbing powers, and you're stomping, you're hopping back and forth. It is...
In Kirby?
Yes.
I need to check
this out. My god, dude. It's so good. The bosses are fun and unique. Honestly, I want to play Kirby in the Forgotten Lands. It looks glorious and excellent.
It does.
But in terms of handhelds and everything Kirby, this is currently still my favorite Kirby game. And I definitely think that if you're wanting a game that is 3DS, like I want to see great use of 3D, I think this is near the top of the mountain. Right up there with Link Between Worlds and another game on our list. But this is one of my favorites. Yeah, Kirby Planet Robobot, totally worth playing. And it may show up in our next 3DS must play.
It may.
Spoiler alert.
The next on my list will be Super Mario 3D Land.
Oh man.
I'm a bit of a big fan of Super Mario games.
Right.
And Super Mario 3D Land also used the 3DS to solve puzzles within the context of the game.
Cool.
It was very cool. And just there ain't much to say about Mario. Right. It was just really well made.
Right.
It was a 3D. It was tried to be a little bit more of a modern slash nostalgic game with like it brought back flagpoles. After Super Mario 3D Land would be Super Mario 3D World on the Wii U, and so it would be ported to Switch later.
Yeah.
But these games tried to bridge the gap between like your Mario 64 or Galaxy or Odyssey type of gameplay, and interject like the Super Mario 1, 2, 3, Super Mario World, kind of like, here's the end of the level, here's the start of the level, get to the end. That's kind of really all that's going on here.
Right.
Fantastic platformer. I mean,
and really, you're not kidding. It is an excellent showcase for the 3D.
Absolutely. There's just when some of the bullet bills are being shot at you and the camera is behind you, and there was some really, really, really neat stuff in this game.
Yeah, this is one of the few non-Mario Kart games my wife is interested in.
Hey, how can you not love Super Mario?
Rock on. Okay, for my next game, we have Mario and Kirby, cute, fun, lovey. I gotta end it off with a pretty dark apocalyptic game, and that's SMT4. Shin Megami Tensei 4 is, depending on when you ask me, I would say it is still my favorite SMT game. I think it is absolutely the best characters, the best story. The combat is not my all-time favorite, but it is definitely in top 3 of my favorite of the entire run. It's just excellent. The sprite work is excellent, and what I love about this is when you're running around. When I first was getting into the SMT games, I was like, are they all first-person dungeon crawlers? And then I saw that glorious graphics on the 3DS of when you're running around in third person through this amazing PS 1.5 era graphics, where you're exploring a devastated Tokyo. You're seeing like digital monsters running around. It's hard. It's creepy. The ambience is oppressive. The soundtrack is chef's kiss good. The boss battle themes from SMT4. Some may say they slap too hard. I'm leaning on yes. They hit a little too hard. They're so freaking good. SMT4 is a must-play. If you are a JRPG fan, you need to do yourself a favor and at least try SMT4. I'm not saying it's going to be for everybody, but I definitely think it's a must-play for any JRPG fan.
It's one of those series that I've played a few times, and SMT4, that was a fantastic game. The combat was great. It was my introduction to the SMT mainline franchise.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I was a big fan of just that environment. The Flynn, was it the kid?
Yes.
Great character.
Oh, yeah.
Just,
very cool.
It was a very cool game, and I totally get why it's your favorite. A favorite.
SMT4. Which of the SMT games on the 3DS would you recommend? Let everybody know down in the comments. There's quite a few on the 3DS.
There's a couple.
There's more than one.
I'll finish out my 3DS with Metroid Samus Returns. I'm going real clever with my Nintendo games of Mario, Zelda, and Metroid here.
I'm so happy you picked this because I felt guilty not putting it.
But listen, I played no, don't get me wrong. This I played after Dread, and you had told me, listen, you need to check out Samus Returns, and I'm glad I did.
I'm really happy.
I never played this on the Game Boy. We talked about the Game Boy earlier.
Yeah.
I honestly never knew that the Game Boy Metroid was 2.
I didn't know that either.
So this was, as it came out, I was like, oh, hey, cool.
Yeah.
And what a game. And what a hard game.
It is not easy.
It is a phenomenal 3DS game.
Yeah.
There's just it's a Metroid game. You explore, you get your weapons, you get your items. I don't know what else.
Well, Dread is so critically acclaimed and has every right to be.
For sure.
I genuinely, I know a lot of people got off-put by the counter mechanic. I do think that everything that makes Dread good, I think, was formulated in Samus Returns.
It took that for them to create Dread.
Yeah, and I think that Samus Returns, even though it's a little like heavy-handed in the beginning with the counter mechanic, by the end of that game, you're zipping and zooming, you're countering. It's amazing. It's like playing Dread, but in 3D.
You can really get the flow of this game's combat, and you can just do some wild stuff.
I've actually been meaning to watch a speed run of Samus Returns.
That could be good.
Yeah, I bet it's pretty long.
My 3DS knowledge is admittedly pretty limited compared to especially the DS. The Samus Returns, that's a good one.
Well, there you have it. There are our top 3 favorite games for every Nintendo handheld that we've played. If there's some weird...
we'll have to update. We'll play some.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But anyways, let us know what your favorite games are down in the comments. I am so excited
to see recommendations.
Yeah, we are looking for some of the deep cuts, you know.
For sure.
But thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing, and we will see you all next time.